welcome back to the channel and the obligatory walking underneath one of the archway shots at the beginning of the video. August really is the month of plenty, isn't it? And my video this week is all about the jobs that I need to get done before the end of August. Plenty of harvesting, plenty of weeding, plenty of watering, and well, plenty of pruning. Because I only realised just last week that all of these cordon fruit trees need a summer prune, not just the stone fruit, the apples and pears as well. And I don't mind admitting to you that actually these cordon fruit trees are terrifying me, the way that I have to maintain them. I almost didn't buy them. Maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe I should have just put some patio fruit trees in here and that would have been easier to care for. Well, the worst that can happen is that they won't fruit next year. So I guess I'm just going to give it a go. Oh look, I can put it off a little bit longer because Chippy wants a cuddle. I don't know if you want a cuddle that much though. Chip, this is why I never get anything done. He's high on my August job list as well, aren't you? You like a fuss, don't you? He sleeps underneath the raspberry canes all day long. Well, either the raspberry canes or the sweet corn. Right, are you going down? I need to get something done. Oh. All right, I got you. Right, I really have got to crack on. The reason we prune these is to encourage them to put a fruiting bud shorter on the end of the stem because they won't grow much now past the end of August this year. So it's in for the hard prune. Now apparently what I've read and watched suggests that we go 3 buds past the basal cluster. If it's another stem from one of these stems, which I don't have at the moment, these only have their main stems from the actual trunk, then you'd only go 1 bud past the basal cluster. Now I'm not really sure what the basal cluster is on this particular stem. There's nothing overly obvious on this one. They all seem fairly evenly spaced. And the video that I watched did say if you can't determine where the basal cluster is, to be on the safe side, just go 5 to 6 leaves up from the main stem. So that's what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my life. Oh, that's taking a lot off, isn't it? Eep. Now this one here hasn't terminated in a fruit bud yet, and it says to leave them if they've already terminated, not if they haven't. So I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm guessing that should be the basal cluster there. So I'm going to sort of count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to count 6 because I'm not sure of this one. And cut it there. Similarly with this one, we don't have any terminated fruit bud on it. I'm not entirely certain that there's a really big basal cluster visible on this. I'm going to do the same thing again, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whew. Basal cluster, 1, 2, 3. I have a green gauge and a plum here, and the advice is slightly different for those, and that is to just count 5 to 6 leaves up each stem and just cut the stem all over. That's harsh. I can't find the disinfectant spray that I have, but I do have some hand sanitizer. This is actually 80% alcohol liquid stuff. It's not a gel. I've just refilled this bottle with it. But I'm just going to tip this on the blades between doing each one. Just to act as a bit of a disinfectant. Don't want to be spreading diseases. This tree here is my purple haze apple tree, which actually really excitingly, I got to harvest the apple from it the other day. Well, I didn't get to harvest it. When I was watering the tree, I discovered that it had already fallen off. I'm standing here, actually in my PJs, look. But I had to film this. This doesn't need pruning. This grows in a semi-cordon fashion anyway, so I'm going to leave it for this year and just see how it develops naturally. And then this is my Genevieve plum, which seems to be putting up some massive, I think they call those water shoots, don't they? And I'm not sure that I want that at all. So I'm going to cut that off. Now I can't deny that they don't look neater, but whether they look like they should do when they've been pruned, who knows, only time will tell. So I'm going to tick that off the list. First job, butcher the cordon fruit trees. Done. Now, fruit bushes and trees do feature quite heavily for the August jobs list, and another job that you can be doing is to cut down your summer fruiting raspberry canes, the canes that have given you fruit this year, any time from now, leaving the new canes for next year's fruit. I'm not going to be doing mine yet because there are still some fruit growing on them, but it is on the list and I'll probably get it done within the next few weeks. Now, still sticking on the theme of fruit, I need to head into the fruit cage for the next job. Because our grapes, strawberries and our currants need a little bit of work before the end of August as well. Now I'm going to start with the grape because I think that's probably the easiest thing to do. It's not that long since I tied this up, and as you can see, it's put on loads and loads of little side shoots, and these are what we need to be taking care of. Now I only want 2 of these shoots right at the top of the grapevine, so I need to butcher something else, taking all of these side shoots off, just leaving the 2 that I want ready for next year. It's actually quite traumatic. Off you go. Now, I really didn't enjoy doing that, but I've left this shoot to go that way, and this one I'm going to bend to go this way because all of the other side shoots were actually a little bit too low down to take that way. So yeah, if this one grows, this tiny, tiny little one, then I will use that one instead. But for now, I'm leaving this one here. I'm quite pleased to see that another job for August is actually to tackle these currant bushes because mine are being decimated by caterpillars at the moment, and I'm thinking that they might be sawfly actually, so it's really important that I need to get them sorted right now. And I'm hoping that the way that they need to be pruned for summer is going to help just to eradicate the problem anyway, because look at them. They are pesky little critters and they have completely stripped the leaves bare. Now obviously, to make things even more complicated for a new gardener like me, the red and white currants need to be pruned in a different way to the black currants. Red and white currants fruit on older wood and the black currants need younger wood left to fruit on for next year. So apparently what I need to do for the red and white currants is to cut them around 15 centimetres from the base, which seems quite low down for something that's then going to have to fruit on older wood. Not quite sure how that works, but I'm hoping that if I chop them back a bit, like this piece here, the caterpillars will be gone. Now I've just cut the middle out here because it did say that if the middle looks a little bit congested, to cut the middle out to allow a lot of space and light for air in there. Now, I'm pretty certain it will have already become apparent that I haven't got a clue what I'm doing here, and I'm really quite scared about this, and especially the blackcurrant, because these blackcurrants were absolutely amazing this year. But it says that I have to cut a third of these down to ground level. That seems really, well, scary. So, which third shall I do? The ones right in the middle? Oh, that's a big thing that I've cut out there. Still smells like blackcurrant. There's not a lot left of that bush, is there? I might be buying blackcurrants next year. Now obviously I'm not going to be putting all of those infected currant leaves with all the caterpillars on in the compost bins. They are going in my council waste bin, which for some reason is down here on my sister's plot. And my sister's plot is turning into the squash plot slowly. Lots and lots of winter squashes here. And she's got quite a productive polytunnel going there as well. The next job on the list is to tackle these boysenberries. They need tying in, ready for next year. And I need to see if I can do this without actually killing the fruit cage or the boysenberry or anything else for that matter as I go. Ugh. I'm sure I'm making this more difficult than it needs to be. Oh, come on. Oh. I'm gonna have to hang it off the top, aren't I? It's the only way to hold it up there. There's got to be an easier way. Oh, I've got one on. Well, that was more effort than I expected it to be, but I am pleased I've tied that on here, and I've selected 4 or 5 canes from each boysenberry plant here, because I have 2 here that will give me the fruit for next season. And I didn't think that they had thorns, but they did have little spiky bits, so I've had quite a few little spikes in my hands. Why didn't I put gloves on again? Another fruit orientated job that can be done now is also to set your strawberry runners. I've got loads of runners on my strawberries in here, and I have to say I'm quite lazy about how to pot them on, because I can be. With having wood chip paths here, I find that mine try to root into the wood chip path, so all I do is go along and very carefully, she says, I can lift them up. Oh, there you go, give it a good shake. And as you can see, this one already has quite a lot of root growth on it, so I will just cut that off and plant it straight into the bed. And any like this one, which have only just got a little bit of roots on, I just pop them straight back in. There you go, there's another one with some big roots. Take that one out as well. But I will not let it have another runner of its own. But those 2 there, they are more than ready to be planted. Take that little thistle out. So that's all of the main fruit jobs that I'm going to be doing for August. But it's not the end of the August jobs. There is plenty that needs to be done, because the next job on my list this week is feeding the pumpkins, and I'm going to be feeding my French beans as well. I think the next job I'm going to do is take my jacket off, because the sun has come out. It's got really rather warm. Oh, spilt half of it then, tripping. I'm really pleased with these little pumpkin archways this year. Now, if like me, you also have flowers in your vegetable garden, another job we need to really keep on top of is the deadheading, and I am not very good at that. But these spent gladioli heads here are really detracting from the beauty of the ones that are looking really good right now. I didn't realise I had quite that many gladioli. Although I don't know why I'm surprised, I did plant 115 bulbs. Which reminds me, it's now the time to start thinking ahead and ordering some spring bulbs, especially if you're having them delivered from overseas. I know a lot of people like to buy from the Dutch growers, because in another 6 weeks or so, we'll be thinking about planting them. Or if you're anything like me, you'll be buying them, you'll be thinking about planting them, and then you won't do it until after Christmas. I'm going to try and be more organised this year. These sweet peas are all but over, so another job that I'll be turning my attention to in August is seed saving. I've already started with some of my tomatoes, and I will be trying to save some of these sweet peas, but they're not quite at that stage yet. But give them another week or so and I'm pretty certain that some of these will have turned enough to be saved. And it's such a shame everything is finishing early because spring and summer has been so hot, I guess, and dry. When it comes to the alliums, I don't know whether they can do anything from seeds easily, but I do like to shake the seeds into the soil. I don't know about you, but I always underestimate just how much time I have to give over to deadheading. It's like a vegetable garden, and I spend a lot of time doing the deadheading, but it is really worth it. This dahlia bed has been an absolute dream this year. I really particularly like these pale lilac ones here, and obviously this is the Cafe au lait. But this has had a lot of deadheading, as has the bed behind me, and I've done a little bit in the pollinator highway and down the side of the polytunnel too. So I'm going to tick deadheading off for now. There's loads more deadheading to do, but I've done the more important things, and hopefully these will continue to flower and I'll be able to harvest things to put in vases. Another job that I keep forgetting to do is to top the beans. They do need topping now, and I can't reach with anything else. So I've got the shears in to do it with them. They are ridiculously tall, considering they didn't fare too well at the start of the season. Now the plants themselves are looking absolutely magnificent, and as you can see, I am starting to get some beans on here, so that's another job to be getting on with soon, harvesting the French beans. I feel like even Prunarbo's met its match here. Oh, the size of that, that's ridiculous. So that's the next job, clearing the beds of spent crops. Now this never got harvested for no other reason than I totally oversowed the cabbages, and I just couldn't face dealing with another cabbage at that time. The freezer was already full, so that one is going in the compost bin. Now it was a bit different with this one because this just never hearted up at all. And if I remember rightly, it's been in the ground many months, and I really didn't need any more spring greens. And then this one here is actually quite fascinating because this is one that I already did harvest earlier on in the year, but I left the stem in and it reshooted. So I have 3 new little heads coming from the first main stem. In fact, it might be 4. It is. And then that's what I harvested a couple of months ago. It's like a brassica mountain. Now I can't really see where I'm going, but I'm heading to the compost bin. Now clearing the beds moves me to my next job for August, which is making sure that I have space for the compostables, of which there's going to be a lot in the next few weeks. I do have another compost bin to put in yet, but I'm hoping that that should see me through until I can empty the bin on the end after the pumpkins have come out, because obviously that's got some fresh compost and manure which can go on the beds. So the really later stuff heading towards winter, hopefully, will be going over there. Now I've decided that I'm going to be putting the strulch that I had in this bed into the compost heap and use it as browns, because I never really had much success with anything in these beds that had strulch on them. It seemed to inhibit the growth of the plants, so I think it's safer just to remove it. It's really quite satisfying to see a bed all clean and tidy that you've looked at looking a mess for months really. Now if I head into the polytunnel, it is a bit of a jungle in here, and one of the main things to really keep on track of over August is the harvesting. It is relentless levels of harvesting. I've already had several trays of tomatoes out of here this week, and well, there's several more left to harvest, but the fact that the polytunnel is really coming on so fast means that I think it'll be empty by the end of September. I think the tomatoes will be finished, which means I am going to sow some crops to grow in here over winter. But all I'm going to be sowing are some calabrese, all year round cauliflower, and probably some land cress, maybe some lettuces, and when the tomatoes are out, if it's early enough, I will sow some more carrots. Now, I'm not going to do a proper harvest video this week, but I do want to show you a first for me that I'm going to be harvesting today. And it's this watermelon here. This is my first ever watermelon. This variety is called Sugar Baby, and it is ready to harvest. I've done the knock test. It's very, very hollow. So I'm going to give it a go. Look at that. Wow. Now, I did promise you something else exciting would be revealed in today's video, but unfortunately my mother-in-law is in hospital, so plans have changed slightly. So look out for an announcement next Tuesday where I'll be telling you what's really coming to the channel soon that I think you're going to enjoy.